What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily. So Samsung has officially announced their new Galaxy S26 lineup, and the star of the show by far was this, the S26 Ultra. Not only did this phone get the most attention during the keynote, but it's also the one that has all the new features, the biggest upgrades, and arguably seems to be Samsung's main focus right now across their smartphone lineup. I was fortunate enough to get some hands-on time with the new S26 Ultra and got to try everything out. So in this video, I want to go over what's new, what Samsung talked about with the hardware changes, the software updates, the AI integration, which was probably what they highlighted most, honestly, and everything else you need to know. So first things first, all the new S26 smartphones are available for pre-order today, and they'll go on sale on March 11th. This S26 Ultra retails for $1,299 for the 256GB model, and you can spec that up to 512GB or 1TB if you want. Of course, Samsung has plenty of pre-order promotions, so you'll likely save a bunch of money if you have a trade-in device or utilize some online store credit that they offer. And I'll leave a link to the latest pre-order deals down below in the video description if you want to check on pricing or pre-order the new phone right now yourself. There are technically 6 new colors for the Ultra, and these are actually all the same across all the phones this year, the regular S26 and S26 Plus as well. There's no difference. We get Cobalt Violet, which is the darker purple blue. There's white and black. There's Sky Blue, which is a very light shade, and then 2 Samsung.com online exclusive colors, Pink Gold and Silver Shadow. Now, the design for this S26 Ultra has changed quite a bit from last year, as you can see. Samsung has decided to basically make all 3 phones look exactly the same now. So this S26 Ultra ditches that boxy, sharp-looking design and gains some curves. It's still the biggest phone in the bunch at 6.9 inches, and it has a few more bits to its camera setup around back. That's how you can still tell it apart. But other than that, it is nearly identical now to the regular S26 and S26 Plus, and I do kind of like that consistency. It's also thinner than ever, not quite edge or foldable level thin, but at 7.9 millimeters, it is the thinnest Ultra ever. And it sounds subtle, but you do actually notice its thinness when you hold it in your hand. Between this and the shaved down corners, it is a much more comfortable phone to hold. And surprise, surprise, Samsung also ditched titanium. This phone is now back to being built from aluminum for the sides and frame. Samsung calls it their light armor aluminum, which is stronger and tougher than the last aluminum phone they offered, the S24 Ultra. The actual back panel is still glass, and the front glass is still Corning Gorilla Glass Armor 2. The only other notable physical change is with the S Pen. Yes, this phone still has the S Pen there at the bottom, and no, unfortunately, Samsung didn't bring back Bluetooth support, so it's still a less than smart stylus than how it was a couple of years ago. No camera shutter control, no air gestures or anything like that. And I don't know why, but every year everyone is so concerned with how the S Pen goes in and out of its little hole. Now, since this phone has that curvy corner design, the S Pen has a slight curved top end, the clicky top side. So there is a right and wrong way with how it pops back in. The right way is with the curvy S Pen top to be aligned with the curvy corner of the phone. If you put it in the wrong way, the S Pen sticks out a tiny bit and the curve doesn't align. It's barely noticeable. It doesn't really matter. And in fact, I almost like it going in the wrong way because you can feel the S Pen a little better with its top sticking out. But yeah, that's the story with the S Pen this year. The last big physical change that's unique to just this S26 Ultra is what Samsung is calling the privacy display. And this is actually pretty wild. If you're familiar with those privacy screen protectors that sort of black out or dim the display from certain angles so people can't see what you're doing, that's exactly the idea here, except this is happening on the screen itself at pixel level. It isn't isn't a screen protector. Basically, the edge or side of the screen pixels are being turned off in real time. You can turn privacy display on or off, and there's multi-level customization so you can shield different things at different times. For example, with privacy screen just on, the whole entire display will be dim from any angle past about 15 degrees at all times. It works left, right, up, and down, and unless you're staring at the screen nearly straight on, most, if not all, of the screen will look totally dim from any other angle. And there's a maximum privacy protection option too that makes the screen even darker still. If you just want to dim certain elements on screen, or certain apps, or enable privacy display only when you're away from your home or only at work, you can do all of that too. You can enable privacy display for notifications, so if you get a text message, for example, the on-screen pop-up will be dim to onlookers. If you want to shield your messaging app or banking app or photos app from onlookers, you can do that. Any app you want, basically. You can also private the lock screen so people can't see your PIN or password when you log into your phone. And this is a really interesting addition to the S26 Ultra, and considering how many privacy screen protectors I see just out about in the world, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually the most talked about feature for this phone. Like I said, it is exclusive to just the S26 Ultra. It's not on the other S26 devices, and I think this is the first smartphone ever to offer something like this on device. When it comes to the internal upgrades and performance boosts, this, coupled with all things AI on the software side, is really what Samsung talked about most. So this S26 Ultra is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chipset that's made for Galaxy. And Samsung stressed that this processor really is a custom-tailored component that's intended to be the best for Samsung's specific software and AI features. The processor itself is faster and more powerful compared to last year by these various percentages, according to Samsung. And the Ultra still comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM for 2 out of the 3 configurations. You get 16 gigabytes of RAM with the 1 terabyte model. Samsung also slightly redesigned the vapor chamber inside the S26 Ultra since the phone is a little thinner, but they say it can actually dissipate even more heat over a greater area, which again should help sustain performance without worrying about overheating. All these performance enhancements are designed to tackle the tons and tons of AI features and software changes that are now integrated within One UI 8.5, and Samsung highlighted a few interesting ones that I want to just quickly touch on. They're still incorporating both LLMs and what they hope to now be agentic AI so that various different tasks, prompts, to-dos, and suggestions are all tailored specific to you in the moment in real time and are easier to utilize and are also actually helpful. So for example, if you get a text message from a friend asking for photos from a recent trip, the keyboard will automatically show a share photo link, and when you tap on that, only photos from the trip that's being referenced in the text message chain will be shown. It's trying to be one step ahead of you, and this is called Now Nudge. It's real-time suggestions within the keyboard based on the context of on-screen conversations and information. It's a similar story with, say, a calendar invite. If you're asked about a certain day or time, the keyboard can present you with your schedule and actually references that day. On the LLM side, in search, you can more easily ask natural language questions with more context to get more specific or tailored results across the entire phone and throughout all the different apps. And one demo that was particularly interesting, you can actually task Gemini now to order you an Uber to a location of your choice. Gemini will work in the background inside the Uber app to set up your ride, and then you'll confirm the details with one last press. Gemini is literally taking over that task for you within the Uber app, and you can take back control at any time if something goes wrong, but Samsung says they're starting with the Uber app and will hopefully bring this feature to other apps very soon. There's also even better call screening for spam and scams with an assistant asking the caller the reason for the call and relaying the details back to you before you answer. For document scanning, you'll now get a prettier final result with the photo automatically being transformed into a centered, color-corrected, and detailed detailed-looking PDF. It removes shadows, your finger, folds, or creases in the page, and you can add multiple document scans to a file as you go along. And Samsung is also incorporating even more AI photo features like Photo Assist. You now have the ability to fully edit your images using natural language prompts to add different background, for example, or change the scenery, and even bring multiple elements from different photos together into a newly edited picture. They're also launching a new app for making stickers and greeting cards and invitations and wallpapers. Arguably, One UI 8.5 and all the AI and software changes are basically the biggest upgrades to the entire S26 lineup this year. And while many of the older phones may get some of these software changes, a lot of the on-device AI add-ons will remain exclusive to the S26 lineup. Basically, Samsung at this point is trying to evolve what was originally Galaxy AI on the S24 into this multi-layer agentic AI that can work on behalf of you, think ahead for you, or anticipate your future needs or tasks, all seamlessly incorporated within Android and One UI and processed quickly and effortlessly with the latest made-for-Galaxy chipset that's powering these phones. So a couple more things to mention here. The battery on this new S26 Ultra is still 5,000 milliamp hours, but Samsung has upped the charging speeds here. The Ultra now supports 60-watt wired charging, and it can juice up from 0 to 75% in about 30 minutes. The regular S26 and S26 Plus have 25-watt and 45-watt wired speeds respectively, and the Ultra also now has super fast wireless charging at 25 watts. The regular and Plus support 15 and 20 watt wireless charging, so a bit of a boost here, and the Ultra obviously remains at the top with its overall charging speeds. Finally, it wouldn't be a new Samsung phone without some camera enhancements. Now, the hardware on paper on the spec sheet isn't really different. Around back, this is still a 200 megapixel main lens, a 50 megapixel ultra wide lens, and then the 10 megapixel and 50 megapixel telephoto and periscope zoom lenses. But the aperture on the 200 megapixel main lens is now wider, which means your photos and videos will be up to 47% brighter, which obviously is most helpful for low light and nighttime shots. The 50 megapixel telephoto lens also gets a wider aperture and is up to 37% brighter. So basically, your nighttime shots should have less noise, more detail, they should look more vibrant, and also be more accurate with the color temperature and overall balance. Samsung says the camera setup as a whole should offer smarter image processing for consistent, natural-looking shots, better skin tones, better detail, and for video, they've upgraded the stabilization capabilities with gimbal-like precision. They also demoed a new ocean mode, so if you film underwater, you can automatically color correct to basically get rid of that blue hue. A pretty scenario-specific feature that's only available in the Pro video mode, but I thought it was pretty neat. And although the lenses didn't change, Samsung says your selfies should look a little better too. And I think all of this is great. To be honest, I didn't expect any actual camera hardware changes, so I'm interested to see just how different the photos and videos might end up being, with potentially better low light and a lot more emphasis on image processing and software enhancements versus big outright hardware changes. The main question that gets asked every year, of course, with these new Samsung phones is always, is it worth upgrading? And what's interesting now is that even Samsung recognizes that most people just don't upgrade every single year anymore. So they're now positioning these phones, like the new S26 lineup, to be an upgrade for someone who has an S23 or an S24. That would obviously be a big upgrade. And I think that's what most people would be doing now anyway. Though to be honest, at least with the S26 Ultra, Samsung did change quite a lot compared to last year that kind of makes this enticing. I like the redesign, even though it doesn't move the needle necessarily. Privacy display is pretty interesting. The performance upgrades could be significant too, depending on how intense you are with your phone. The faster charging is nice, it's very convenient. The camera upgrades should be solid as well. So I actually feel like the Ultra sees a pretty substantial upgrade, but What do you guys think? Are you upgrading to this S26 Ultra this year? Do you have a favorite new feature? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.